Morning mates, hope you're all safe and well, doing the best you can in this crazy old world of ours. Now overnight, Philips shares dropped around 15%, their biggest one-day drop since I think around 1980. A big drop, and this was mainly due to a profit downgrade, but they also had some information in there about the recall. So I listened to the Analyst call, where the analysts asked Frans van Riek all these questions, took out some interesting points, and I thought I'd share them with you. So, following a comprehensive patient and customer outreach program, we expanded the eligibility of certain older devices in the interests of patients and in alignment with the relevant competent authorities. Consequently, Philips now expects to remediate a total of 5.2 million registered devices globally, and that's up from around 4 million. And I'd just like to know if any of you were part of that patient and customer outreach program. I haven't heard of anyone who was part of that program, but if you were part of that, I'd love to hear about it. Drop a comment down below. Old mate Frans van Riek was asked a question on the 12-month timeline, and he said it was still about intact. So to date, there's been around 700,000 customers that have received repairs or replacement, DS1s, DS2s, 700,000. And that's about 14% of units replaced in 5 months since the FDA approved the initial recall. So they've got 86% to go in 7 months if they want to meet that timeline. I don't think they'll do it. I think it's going to be an 18+ month recall. That's just my personal opinion. So I went back, had a look at the original recall devices. That Philips recall page, it changes every week. Every week I look at it, there's some new information, they're backflipping on bits and pieces, it's always changing. But I went back and had a look at the original devices and then compared them with that of today. And I think those extra 1 million devices that they've added to the recall are the System 150 series CPAP, APAP and BiPAP devices. Okay, so if you are someone who has a System 150 series, maybe you registered your device initially and it wasn't approved, maybe go back and check again, because I think this time if you enter your serial number, you might get a different outcome. And if you do that, you'll probably get an upgrade to either a refurbished DS1 or perhaps even a new DreamStation 2. So definitely worthwhile. If you have an old 50 series kicking about, go and register it, get yourself a new device. So here's some interesting parts that I took out of the analyst call. Lisa Clark asked about the VOC testing and why it's taking so long. It's taking an awfully long time. Frans replied with, the regulator, FDA, increased the scope of the testing. So let's just say a broader test with more ISO standards, as if a particulate is an implanted device. If a particulate would remain in the body, then what's the consequence of that? That's a longer test protocol. So they're not just testing the machines, they're doing tests to see what happens if the foam is implanted in your lungs, which unfortunately, there will be many of you that have foam particles down there in your lungs. So they're trying to figure out what the health outcomes of that are. He went on to say that the new silicone foam is safe, but the FDA has asked for a comprehensive suite of tests around the silicone foam. So that'll be interesting to see what happens in regards to the silicone foam found in the DS2 and that in the refurbished DreamStation 1s. James Van Tempst asked a great question regarding the extra 250 million euro provision. So the provision is originally they quoted 500 million euro, which was going to be the cost to do the recall, send out all the replacements. But they've just added another 250 million euro onto that provision, so 750 million euro now, and that doesn't include any potential litigation, any legal costs. So it'll be interesting to see as well if that blows out any further, but that was one of the reasons as well for the big downgrade today. So James asked the question, you state in the release it's more to do with the affected devices, but I also noticed there's a provision for quality actions and other matters in connected care. What are these? And Frans dodged the question a little bit, basically saying that they're taking quality actions across the whole company after the sleep issue to take proactive action also in other product areas. So they've got the sleep problems. The FDA has gone in there, done that big 483, investigation. And then Philips has gone, we better go and have a look what's going on with all our other products to make sure shit doesn't hit the fan, which I think it will. Old mate Franz continues. There are, let's say, some actions that require provisions for which we have taken that at this time we cannot identify, let's say, publicly. So basically what Franz is saying there is there's a whole bunch of products that Philips is doing provisions for that he can't name right now. And I have a big feeling they're the ventilators that are used around the world to keep people breathing. I think there's problems with them, and this is adding to the costs. James asked another great question regarding what was the driver behind the expansion to 5.2 million units? Why did they suddenly add all the System 150 series? They weren't originally part of the recall. Franz was a bit vague in his response, as he pretty much always is, but he basically said there's a lot of patients using older devices who had registered for the recall, but I think that it's probably a legal matter, or maybe the FDA has forced their hands. I'm sure Philips is not doing this out of the goodness of their dear sweethearts. They're not adding 250 million euro just for fun. Someone's pulled the trigger on that. The update on the recall came as Philips gave a profit warning. Philips attributed the weaker figures to supply chain strains, including shortages for electronic components and freight capacity, as well as equipment installation postponements. Now, this is something that is being talked about a lot in pretty much every industry. Electronic component shortages. ResMed, they've done 2 videos on their YouTube about this now. One where old mate Mick was basically pleading with suppliers to give me more chips. And then the last one, which was only done in December, I'll put links to these videos if you want to watch one, just click the link above, where he buttons back up his shirt. The first one, he had his buttons down here, and I like that look on Mick. It's just showing, well, a lack of chest hair, should I say. But now he's buttoned it up again for the second video. Old mate Sexy Mick. And in that video, once again, he's sort of saying, yep, there's all these component shortages, there's all these freight problems, supply chain issues. He's calling up companies, going 5, 6, 7 deep back into the supply chain, just trying to get more chips. And he's also talking a lot about the prices of the components, but also the price of shipping. Shipping all the products around the world has gone up. And I think what he's doing there is he's laying the groundwork for an increase in price of the products. I think that's what we're going to see heading into 2022 and beyond. We're going to see those price of ResMed products going up because they're not going to wear those costs, guys. They're going to pass them on to you. Mick does say in that video, expect those shortages to remain right through 2022. So there's going to be a real shortage of CPAP machines. And it's really unfortunate, but that's the world we're living in at the moment. So we'll just have to see what we can do about that. Anyway, guys, I will leave it at that. Have yourselves a wonderful day. Thanks for tuning in. Hit the subscribe button if you like, and make sure you like the video. And I've got plenty more videos coming up. I'll see you soon. Bye.